Here we go. It looks like he's been dusting himself in some rather dark soil. And giving him a lovely, much darker sort of coloration than the other two to the right of him. And there's two of them that have been dusting themselves in dark. So Anne is wondering, is an elephant's footprint like a fingerprint? As in, is it unique? Indeed it is. Each individual elephant will have a unique set of wrinkles along their feet, just like the wrinkles along our fingerprints. So yes, they do have a very unique footprint. Now, of course, this area is also quite good for the sausage tree pride, or a portion of the sausage tree pride. We're convinced we're not convinced, we know there's sort of two sausage tree prides, probably splinters from each other. Who was first and who was biggest, I'm not sure. I think the ones that live closest to home are probably the splinter from the bigger group that's down here. There's a very distinct female in that group who's got a kinky tail, and they've got two young males who hang about with them as well. But unfortunately for them, you can see not many wildebeest and zebra around, just some elephants. But what I find quite amazing is how the animals adapt to the migration not being here. And you'll see a lot more daytime hunts from the lions now. Well, the topie birthing season is now, so there's quite a lot of baby topie around. So they might be taking advantage of that. But the thing, the lions, especially these lions up against the escarpment, and the Angamas, for example, do a lot of warthog hunting. And of course, warthogs like to be home safe down a hole at night. So hopefully that is going to give us a lot more daytime hunts at this time of the year now that the wildebeest have gone. There are certain people amongst our company who still think the wildebeest are going to come back. I don't think they're going to come back, but hopefully I'm wrong. But since it is Lion Day, let's go to the man who lacks a mane, but at least he has some lions. And you're back with the man with the mane. We don't know what Jamesy has done to his sound. He hopefully fixes it shortly. So, well, you probably got to see the lack of mane there. But I, on the other hand, have a flowing mane, probably in need of a trim sometime soon. Now, there was much discussion actually yesterday in Final Control when Manu and I got back from game drive about, I said, oh, I think I should cut my hair. And there was who's going to cut it. The last people to attempt to cut it were Kirsten and Connor, and they made a horrible hash of it. And then Jerry was too scared to fix it. Rebecca, I sort of hinted at that. Rebecca, would you cut my hair? I don't think she wants to. And she was like, why do you not just go to a hairdresser? Well, it's because I refuse to pay money for a haircut. And the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is about 2 weeks. So I think I'm probably going to attempt to cut it myself this time. We'll see how that goes. Could be quite funny. I used to cut my hair myself all the time, but Jamie has forbidden me from cutting it like that. So basically I used to let it get to about this length and just shave it all off. So I used to only have to have a haircut about once every year and a half, every 2 years. Anna Marie is wondering, do flowering plants and trees bloom all year in the Mara? Well, like at Djuma, you will have winter or dry season flowering plants and wet season flowering plants. You will have, well, wet season never sort of ends here, but you will have a a constant blooming of certain species. We haven't got to know them too well yet. Hello, look who's hiding in the grass. Now, are you going to stay hiding in the grass there? You see it, Manu? Ah, it's a good one. You see it? So just on the other side of the... Oh, no, come out a bit. A bit to the right. Sorry, I can't see my monitor here. Oh, wait, let me just try to get my shade. Where's this glare coming from? A little bit to the right. There we go. Oh, now she's going to go hide. Oh, there she is. She's disappearing. Now, for the birders out there, he has a nice test for you, because this is not... or maybe you guys are so sharp you will know what it is. You can tell me which bustard or Quran this is. So I've given you a hint. It is one of the bustards or Qurans. So which one is it? Hashtag Safari Live if you know the answer. Now, we quite often see these ones in pairs, so I'm trying to see if I can spot the male. Oh, she's slinking off. I think we're going to do the same. Slink further to the southeast, slowly but surely. While we bumble on down to the southeast and you guys ponder what possible bird that is, Scott's cheetah are looking alert.
More of an angle. They certainly are looking alert, and I'm just repositioning the vehicle to get Craig a better angle if she does in fact decide to hurtle after these impala. They've started heading away from her, and that's triggered her intent. I guess like most predators, when their prey move away from them, that triggers the chase, and she could start hurtling after them at any moment now. Let's go live on Facebook, Chantal. Look at this, how cool. These impala have got no idea that these cheetah are creeping up on them, and we are sitting in a very, very good position. Welcome to everyone who has just joined us. As you can see, we have got 3 cheetah poised and ready to launch their attack on some impala. It's the mother leading the charge, 2 young boys behind her, and we are in for a treat. Come on, Malaika. Get your boys some breakfast and show us how good you are at hunting. This is going to be the first time we've managed to capture this female doing any serious hunting, and it's a great, great privilege and pleasure to have you guys on board this live safari coming to you from the Masai Mara in Kenya. What are you waiting for? Come on. It's so hard to predict what these animals are going to do, but like I said, we have got some very, very good prospects. Let's show the impala quickly. I'll keep an eye on the cheetah, Craig. Don't worry, if they move, I'll shout. So the impala are not far away, just to give you an idea of what she is planning on chomping down on, possibly. Now, because she has stopped, I think we do need to reposition slightly, because if she does decide to hurtle after these impala, we want to be in a good spot, and I don't think we are in the best spot at the moment. Please don't run now. Yes, Shamsam, of course it will be absolutely incredible if she is successful. To be able to share a live cheetah hunt with you guys is one of the most awesome things we could wish to experience on today's safari, or on any safari really. I'm going to wait here. It's not perfect, but I think we are just going to have to wait here. There might be 1 or 2 vehicles in the way of the cheetah for now, but I'd rather sacrifice not seeing the cheetah now than when they decide to launch their attack, which would be more important. They do move so quickly that you can very, very quickly be left in a cloud of dust. I'll never forget my first cheetah chase. The impala started running when the cheetah was about 60 meters away, and I thought that there was no chance that the cheetah would be able to catch the impala, but I was proved very, very wrong, left in a cloud of dust, and by the time I caught up to the sighting, the cheetah was already suffocating an impala about 150 meters further down the line. So I've learnt my lesson on that first cheetah hunt I experienced many years ago. Now, I guess like most predators, they try to plan and calculate their attacks as efficiently and effectively as possible so as to not waste any energy. And I'm guessing that's what she may be doing. She's also not starving. I guess it's mainly the fact that this opportunity has presented itself to them, that they're investigating the opportunities. Kayleen, great to have you on board with us. You would like to know if the impala have any idea that the cheetah are here. You tell me, have a look at these impala, and if you were an impala, would you be acting like this if you knew a cheetah was nearby? Certainly not. They have got no idea. They're busy just worrying about getting their own breakfast while she thinks about getting hers. Let's have another look there. The boys are creeping up behind her, which will be quite a nice visual. And also very interesting to see how they know that they need to hang a little bit back to let the master do the business without blowing it. But they are imminent to start living, well, they imminently will be leaving her and start having to hunt on their own. Yet they obviously have been well disciplined by her, obedient boys, listening to their mother's commands. She'll be like, boys, you stay back. I'm gonna do breakfast this morning. Don't get in my way. And they're doing just that. Hello, Ellen. Great to have you with us. You'd like to know if these cheetah are related to other cheetah in the area. I mean, I don't know the exact DNA statuses of all the cheetah, but yes, in one way or another, they will probably be kind of distant relatives, you could say, to other cheetah in this area. And a second part to your question is that, would you think that these two boys, once they move off, be able to possibly mate with the two sisters? Of course, anything is possible, but it's going to be a few years before they're sexually dominant or sexually active, these males, whereas those females will be coming into season sooner than them. So it's not uncommon for females to become sexually active at a younger age than males, because males still need to work out things and be able to establish a territory of their own. They've obviously got a coalition of 5 males that they're going to have to contend with before they can think of mating with anyone. So yes, anything is possible, but in all likelihood it's not going to be a couple of years before these guys are doing any romancing. Now you can see now one of the young cubs now is leading the charge. Maybe mom said you can go ahead and have a go at it. Regina, you'd like to know if the vehicles in any way may impact on the hunts, and of course it's nobody's intentions or ideas to interfere in any way. Everyone tries to position themselves as far away from the action as possible, but it would be a complete lie to say that from time to time a vehicle may not aid the prey or aid the predator. But like I say, it is not anyone's intentions if that does happen. It must be said, and everyone does need to remember, that without tourists coming into these parks, they would not generate any revenue and therefore would not be able to be sustainable. So from time to time, yes, we may get slightly in the way, but again, the main thing to remember is that it's nobody's plans or intentions to do so. Okay. Hello Megan, you've noticed that these two boys seem more disciplined than lion cubs in general, and that they do not interfere with the hunt too much. They don't come running in blindly as young male lions often do. It's hard to say why, whether cheetahs are better at installing discipline in their cubs than lions, or I guess it also will depend on the individual, and that we need to remember. Each individual predator or animal archer, be it a lion, a leopard, or a cheetah, has got its own personality, just like we as humans do. So you may find 2 male cub cheetahs are absolute disasters that don't listen to their mothers and blunder all of her hunts, and you may find another 2 that are well behaved, no different to 2 well behaved kids that are in one family that you may know, and 2 disaster kids that you may know in another family. So I guess that kind of sums that up. Things seem to have calmed down here. The prey has moved off to a safe distance. The cheetah have huddled down on the termite mound. Again, they may decide to wait until things warm up a bit before they do their hunting. We're not planning on going anywhere, and we will be sure to keep you guys updated as and when any excitement changes. But for now, I think it's fair to say that things have petered out, and I don't think these cheetah are going to launch their attack just yet. So for those of you who have joined us on Facebook, thank you very much for jumping on board. It was great to have you with us. We're going to say goodbye for now, but keep an eye on the notifications because things could change at any moment. Goodbye. Welcome back, everyone. Well, not welcome back, but I can start talking again. There's about a 30-second gap once we've said goodbye to Facebook people that I need to keep quiet. Exciting, good prospects, and who knows what they're going to get up to and when. But like I said, Craig and I are comfortable. We are loaded up with lots of tasty little snacks, biscuits. We've got some macadamia nuts and peanuts, slightly roasted and salted, which are going to be very tasty, and some tea and coffee. So we are not going anywhere, and we will be sure to rush you back into the sighting as soon as anything changes. But for now, we are going to be sending you across to Mr. Henry with some gnu's.
We are here with some gnu's, yes. Well, we haven't actually moved, but for 1 or 2 meters. We've got a view of some herds, and I know that Brent was talking about them, saying he didn't think they were going to come back. They haven't come back. That's not what I'm showing you. We're showing you the sort of tail end of the herds as they've headed down towards the Serengeti. I really don't know whether they'll come back or not, and certainly they do extend from where we are here. We're pretty much on the southern reaches of the Masai Mara up to where Scott is. They have been around that area too, so there are still remnant herds here, and who knows, it's been such an odd rainy season that it's entirely impossible that the wildebeest could turn around and come back here, depending on what happens in the Serengeti. Now, we're sitting here sort of trying to maintain a 360-degree vigilance because we don't know where the lionesses are going to come from. The little cave is over there. People keep driving in and out and then looking at us, hopefully, because of course we've been here for so long. So they think what's going on is that we've been watching the lions for a long time. Now, I'm sorry about the wind noise. I know that it is a little disconcerting. There is a lot of wind, obviously, and we will try and do something about it. Basically, I need to cover up the microphone, which should be invisible. It has got a little bit of it needs to have another cover on it in wind like this. So that's the story here, and we're just trying, as I say, to maintain a 360-degree vigilance so that they don't sneak up behind us and suddenly reunite with their cubs without our knowledge. And that's what's happening. Interesting about those wildebeest there, they've remained for some time now. There's a big grouping there, and then there's another big grouping way, let me see if I can't spot it. It is, oh, it's so far away. Basically, I'm going to say 4 or 5 miles across 2 or 3 ridges the other side. Quite a big grouping, but nothing particularly large in the way of some of the big herds that we've seen. Then we have approaching, Fergus, approaching our lion den, we have got some guinea fowl. Can you see them there? They're just coming through the bushes. Unbeknownst to them, heading towards 9 young nemesises. helmeted guinea fowl. There they are, coming up towards where the lions are resting in a perfect little den site. Water, greenery, shelter, and warmth when the sun is out and has baked the rock slightly. It's a very odd temperature. It's pretty chilly today. I thought it was going to get a lot warmer a lot more quickly, but it hasn't. I've just heard a vehicle starting behind us. Don't see any lions coming this way. No, it's just another group of hopeful punters. Anyway, let's enjoy the guinea fowl for a little while. They'll be looking for seeds and small insects. I think there'll probably be quite a few insects around here. Fergus was saying as we got up this morning and climbed into the vehicle, he said the bush out here seems to be much less fragrant than it is in other places, such as at Djuma and in a place like Botswana. He reminded me, which smells of that sort of wild sage. And here it really doesn't. And I don't know why that should be, because the soil here is very fertile in comparison with most South African soils. And there is just a kind of smell of, I suppose, grass and wind at the moment. Maybe it's because there's so much more wind in this area. It really is starting to blast at the moment. I do apologise once again for the sound that it's making. I know it can be a little bit frustrating. Okay, we're probably going to give these lions another 45 minutes or so, maybe another half an hour, and then we might move on. There are reports of a leopard and leopard cub quite a distance from here. The trick is, of course, not to miss what's going on here when it happens, so sometimes it can be a bit frustrating, but sometimes you just have to be patient for the reward. Alrighty, let's head back across to Brent and find out what's happening in the Mara Triangle.
Well, thank you, Jamesy. Thank you. Yes, not much happening at the moment. We're slowly, steadily heading southeast. We're going to go past that hippo carcass, see if there's anything happening around there. Unfortunately, the wind's picked up again, which, as we know, can make game viewing a little bit more challenging. Quite a lot of animals are not fond of the wind, and if they are in the wind, they tend to be a bit jumpy. I am one of those animals that is not so fond of the wind. I like wind when I'm in my tent and I can listen to it buffet the outside rather than buffet me. I see lots of scavengers, scavenging birds on the ground. Maybe the lions and hyenas have abandoned the hippo carcass. Okay, let's see where we go. Oh, there's so many hyenas in the North Clan that they've just scoffed it all and left scraps for the birds. I'm not seeing any kitty cats around or any low hyenas either. Because of course they're not going to be high at the moment as they've eaten a whole bunch of hippo. Or they might be high smelling, but they're going to be very low to the ground. That's incredible. That's almost completely gone. We are right at the hippo carcass now. There is a hyena feeding. And as I said, it's low to the ground. That is amazing how quickly a whole hippo, 3,000 kilograms, just vanishes. And so we got white-backed vultures, rupels, vultures, marabou storks, and off in the distance some leopard-faced vultures as well. Oh, there's nothing left. So right in the center of clan lines, 80-odd hyena. That's not going to last long. Oh, And you can see this hyena is not that, he's a bit late to the party. He doesn't have a big fat belly yet, but I'm sure he'll eke out a fat belly from the fatty meat that's left, well, what little fatty meat is left on this hippo. I've got a frozen picture. And switch off again. But if it switches off, I shouldn't have frozen picture on my... Whatever is going on here in the Mara today, we're going to send you back to the winter farmer who's stomping around Djuma on his side.
Hippo carcasses are probably cool. What you're having a look at over there is the first knobthorn that has been greened up this season. I would imagine that this was probably one of the first knobthorns that had flowers on the season as well, and it is because of this termite mound. This termite mound is a nutrient hotspot and water hotspot, and this knobthorn has picked it as its home base, and it is a fantastic choice. I think this knobthorn, in years to come, if it doesn't manage to get culled by an elephant, is going to be one of those spectacular trees. Now, elephants really enjoy eating knobthorns. They also enjoy eating a whole variety of other plants, and it's what makes elephant dung so fantastic. About 70% of the elephant dung comes out completely unused and in its natural state, just a bit chewed up. I mean, have a look at that stick there. You can see that it's just a piece of wood that's been chewed, and inside you can see how fibrous it actually is. So it comes out with a slight mucousy covering, which is what's dried up on the outside there. But on the inside, it's nothing except for just a bunch of really healthy bush sticks and bush medicine, basically. As we've been talking about throughout this morning's drive, there's a bunch of plants out here that have a lot of medicinal uses, and one of the ways to unlock those medicinal uses is to burn it. Now I have a magnifying glass here, and I'm going to see in this weak sunlight if we can get a flame going for you. I have other means of generating fire, but let's see if we can get this going. So come on, the sun is behind some clouds at the moment. You can do it. Come on. Let's see where this is. The sun going to come out from behind this cloud anytime soon? You can see that a magnifying glass or a piece of glass is probably one of the easiest ways of generating fire out here in the bush. You just concentrate, play a little bit until you can get a round bit of light, and then you just concentrate that sunlight onto a dry patch. And elephant dung takes incredibly quickly. But we are just coming out of winter. The sun is still relatively far away from where we are. And we're not getting any luck with this, so let me pull out another bag of tricks here. Keep my stick there, my little lollipop, and unpack my bag. You know, these things like my handbag. And pull out my magic powder that I have to keep separated in case they mix in my backpack and set me alight, basically, which would be catastrophic. Mix some of this. This is a antiseptic powder that you use for athlete's foot out here, and also to purify water. It is potassium permanganate, and it's a very useful thing. And this is glycerine, which basically is used as a moisturizer. So I use it on top of my bald head, and 3 of those. And now we just wait a little bit. There we go. And come on, fire! How amazing is that? So now I didn't have to worry about the sun. Now I just blow it. And we have some flame. Now, I've been in the Mara for a little bit now. I haven't had my bush fix with my medicinal plants. And it's not a bad idea to coat yourself in the smoke of elephant dung. It's quite good for headaches. I don't know, for me it gives me this fuzzy, cotton woolly feeling in the top of my head. And now I can hold it there and basically smother myself in smoke and vim and you. And breathe it in. It's very good. Ooh. I'm dropping pieces of lit charcoal on me. Not the best idea. Fantastic, eh? So just using the smoke over myself over here now. Breathing it in. It's got a fairly pleasant smell. It's a I don't know, how would you explain it, Vim? It's like a woody, grassy smell. It's not at all unpleasant. It reminds me a lot of the inside of a kraal with a very herby aftertang, basically. It's quite nice. Good for sinus, which I've had a little bit of this morning. It's also a very good way of carrying fire, as you can see. Now, Chastity, dung has so many wonderful uses, you say. It absolutely does. This is also a very, very good fly deterrent. I saw the first time I saw a fly repellent machine basically was in Zambia, where they took an old coffee tin and they plugged some holes in it, and then they put an elephant dung in it and they light it and they drive around with it on the front of the car. And it's a wonderful deterrent for tsetse fly, which of course is an absolute pest everywhere in the world. The smoke blows over the car, gives you a nice fuzzy feeling, makes you feel all euphoric about how fantastic their game drives are. They are actually quite nice. And then keeps the flies away as well. As you can see, it generates a lot of smoke. Not just like this, you can transport this piece of dung around. Once you've made the effort of making a fire, which actually out here is quite a difficult thing to do. In all the years I've been doing survival tricks and things out here, I've never managed to make a fire by friction. It has escaped me. Although I will learn it one day and I will show it to you guys. It's just one of those things I have to do. But it's quite a lot of effort to make a fire. Once you've made a fire, you don't want to lose it, especially if you have to move around. And elephant dung is one of those fantastic ways of keeping fire. You can wrap this up now in some woven leaves if you want, a basket of green leaves, plug it with some moss, and it'll stay smoldering. Not as fast as this. If you take away its oxygen, it'll smolder slowly, and then whenever you get to where you're going, you just put it down again, and then you blow. And it will eventually erupt into flame. And then you can cook your dinner over it, which is of course a very good way to get rid of toxins. It's also a very good way to boil some water and to purify it, and it's a good way of softening up meat protein so that you can utilize it a little bit better. You can just have a look at this wind. Now this in this form at this time of the year is an incredibly dangerous thing. Yesterday we were talking about bushfires, and these lit pieces of elephant dung are one of those ways which you can really set this place alight and do a lot of damage. I would not be very popular if I don't dispose of this fire in a responsible way. And the way that we do that is by completely breaking down the fire and by making sure that it is 100% out before leaving this place. Alright, and on that note, we are going to send you back to the Mara and to those cheetah.
Well, I'm glad Steph started that fire, because things apparently have heated up on this morning's safari. The cheetah that we are looking at now, there are 3 in total, are continuing to keep a beady eye on some possible prey. There's Thompson's gazelle and impala. Let's have a quick look at them, Craig, just in front of our vehicle. So that here they are, the Thompson's gazelle and the impala, that these cheetah are following, keeping an eye on them. They showing interest, but we're not sure when they are planning on actually launching their attack. But because we do not know, we cannot risk not having you guys with us, because it could be over in a matter of seconds. It's very, very windy, which is actually good conditions for these cheetah to hunt in. It's going to make the prey a little bit more skittish, but it's going to mean their approach is going to be a little bit easier. There's a lot of bushes blowing in the wind, so their movement of the bushes will help mask the movement of the cheetah as they creep up on their prey. Now that's the mother we're looking at there. She's got her head up. Her two boys you can see just off to the right of her. And as the kind of Thompson's gazelle and impala disappeared out of their view, they decided to get up and keep an eye on them. So that in itself is a good sign that they are interested in possibly trying to catch one of these antelope for their breakfast. It could be lunch that they're hoping for. And I'm guessing due to the fact that they haven't already launched their attack, they may just be waiting for the perfect opportunity before they decide to try and catch one. What are you thinking, Malaika? The wind is absolutely pumping. You can probably see the pictures vibrating ever so slightly as the wind vibrates our vehicle. Now, for those of you who may have just joined the safari, I would like to just reiterate that from the brief time that I've been in the Mara, we need to rush you across to James. There's some action there.
Right, everybody, here we go. Lioness on her way back to the cubs. We're going to go to Facebook as well. Right, good morning everybody on Facebook. Here we have a lioness, just a lioness walking through the bush. You might say to yourself, what's so exciting about that? Well, we've been sat here next to this little den site all morning. Since 6:15 we've been here waiting for the lionesses to come back, and here she comes. We parked, I hope, perfectly in order to see the young cubs come out of the den site when she comes towards them. The den is just over here. It's this little group of rocks there. We think the cubs are just inside there. That's where we saw them yesterday. And we're hoping for a magnificent reunion of unspeakable cuteness within the next 5 minutes or so. My name is James Henry. It's wonderful to have you with us. Fergus is on camera. Hello, Fergus. There he is, saluting to you. And here comes the lioness, the mother of these cubs. And there have been 5 or 6 people coming through here doing exactly the same thing as us, hoping that the lioness would come up and would see these cubs. And I think now, finally, we're going to be in luck. Isn't this wonderful? I think they have eaten last night. Yeah, Susie, you say sloping along, beautiful, absolutely. We saw a vulture going down just behind where she was, and what is so special about this, I think, that they went off hunting last night, and I think quite possibly they killed, and they've been eating all morning, and now Mum has decided that it's time she came and fed her little babies. Oh, we've been scanning the horizon, we've been staring from rock to rock. Every slightly beige-coloured object around here has been investigated 100 times since 6:15 this morning. And here, finally, this magnificent cat is on the way to her youngsters. There are 9 cubs in this den site. And we'll just keep an eye out. I suspect the other 2 lionesses, there are 3 in this pride, are still on the kill. And Ellen, you say patience pays off at times. It does. And you know, I was about to leave. I was about to go and look and see where those vultures were going down. And I think we'd have found probably 2 lionesses, missed this one coming up. And what a disaster that would have been. Here she comes. She's now about 60 meters or so from the cubs. And let's see, I hope we're not going to get ourselves behind the bush. We should be fine here where we are now. Alright, be patient everybody. And just now we're going to hear the call. She's going to call them. Oh, oh. I hope. Yeah, she's going to pop out. Come on, my dear. There you are. Don't start calling just yet. Just get beyond this bush, next bush. I'll be patient, everybody. She's going to disappear for a little while. There's quite a thick bush between us and her now. We're going to watch the den now. Maybe let's get onto the den, Ferg. I'll tell you if she starts to call. I can't hear anything. There's a very strong wind at the moment. There's the den site. We'll keep an eye there. I'm watching for the lioness. Now she's calling. She's calling. Keep an eye on the den there. Shortly, 9 little fluff balls are going to come out. Here she comes. She's come. This is going to be a cuteness overload, as Teresa has said. Come on, my dear, call them out. And call them out so that we can see them, please. Ferg, I'm going to roll forward slightly. I think they're just a little... She's calling. Oh, look, there they are! Oh, hooray! Is that not the best? Look at them all, and they'll just flow out of that hole. Look! She's having a little bit of water to drink. That's not all of them. There are still more. Oh, is that not just too precious for words? And look, there's another one coming around the other side. Liz, you say you're so excited to see this. I can't believe it either. I thought we'd wasted our time today. And here we sit. Oh, that's wonderful. There are others just to the left behind. Yeah, they are. Now, many of you will say that, leopard cubs are cute and wild dog puppies are cute and maybe even hyena cubs, but to me, there is nothing in nature cuter than a little lion cub. Oh, this is just too precious. Now, she of course will struggle to feed all of them, but the other 2 lionesses will be regaining their strength. Another one coming around the side now, tiny little thing. And she looks almost as if she's perhaps hoping, oh wow. They're so little they can't even make that growling sound yet. Leanne, I'm afraid I missed your comment. What was that? Another one coming up just to play, and now there's almost nothing to say. Now we just have this almost unspeakable kind of collection of adorable fluff all over the place. Leona, you say it's cuteness extreme. Absolutely it is. And if you're wondering how to get hold of us, how to ask a question or make a comment, just put it in the comment section of this podcast, and we'll do our level best to address any comments or questions that you have. 1, 2, 3 so far. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All of them are there. Look at them all. Now, Angela, you want to know if they're all her cubs. Absolutely not. They are not all her cubs. There are 3 lionesses here. It's most likely that all 3 of them have had a litter. If you look very carefully, you will see that they are slightly different sizes. I think we're looking at cubs from ages around about 5 weeks to about 8 weeks. Is she going to take them back to the kill? That will astonish me. If she takes little things like this back to the kill, I will be absolutely amazed. Wow, we will be in for a morning then. Ferg, I'm going to just roll gently down the hill. Space. Oh dear, we've lost Okay, I don't know how far we're going to be able to actually move with them while we are here, because our signal is not great, so we keep losing picture. So what I'm going to do is say a kind of temporary goodbye to you and keep you posted and say that if they do get to the kill, we'll go back live again. But let's just stay live. If we go black screen again, well, then you'll know that we've lost signal, but we will keep following them. Let's stay live now and we'll try and follow them and see if the signal lasts. That makes sense. This is just too spectacular. Amazing. How's that? Well spotted, Fergus. Are we back again? Good. Angela, you're wondering if they're the same age. No, like I just said, they are between 5 weeks, I think, and about 8 weeks. Now just keep me posted, please, on whether or not we have picture. I think the kill is just over the next ridge, so I think we should follow them to the kill if we can. And then if we lose signal, then we can just end the broadcast and we'll start it again when the picture stabilizes at the kill, perhaps. You may have seen some other vehicles. They are, of course, tourists in the Masai Mara, and without their presence, of course, we would be unable to maintain this area as the magnificent conservation space that it is. She's taking them to the kill. I cannot believe our luck today. Just let them go past there, then we'll move on again. Look at them all! Kaylee, you say, will they come back to the den afterwards? Yes, I think it's highly likely that they will. You know, they're still very, very tiny things. I'm just going to try and maintain as much high ground as possible. It's going to be a little bit difficult through here, but we're going to try, just so that we don't lose signal. What on earth was that? There was a scrub hare. Okay, the scrub hare got a bit of a fright. Going to be a little tricky through this section here. Should be right. Don't worry about one or two scratches and scrapes. It's just what happens when you have to drive off-road. Here they come, right up here. Now, Sandy, you want to know how often little cubs like this need to eat? Well, often, but it's not normally meat that they eat. You know, the oldest ones, if I'm correct, and they're about 8 weeks old, they will have started eating meat probably about 2 weeks ago. You know, they will start to wean supposedly at 6 weeks. But because they're also similarly aged, the youngsters of 5 weeks will start to they'll start to wean early, and the older ones, well, they'll wean slightly later. But to have them all moving towards a kill like this is just beyond special. Okay, let's move again. We'll get up onto the top of the ridge there and see if we can't watch them coming towards us. So I don't know what they killed. There are some wildebeest still around. It's quite possible that they killed a buffalo, something bigger, during the course of the night. 3 lionesses, like I say. This pride is the Black Rock Pride. Very well-known pride of the area, and so named for the black rocks in which we saw them emerging, from which we saw them emerging. We just go along here, get a little bit in front of them, and then we can have a look. Bit of a rock field we're going into here. There they come. Mum is just down there. Just sniffing the wind. It's a strong wind, and they have to keep up, these little cubs. They are in real danger now. It's not impossible that a hyena loping home after a night of wassailing could emerge from here. Let's just keep a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nadine, you want to know if they could get lost? Absolutely, they could get lost. And they need to keep up, and this is where the youngsters are going to be in a vulnerable position. They must try and keep up, because lions are not good at keeping watch over stragglers or weak ones or runts. They are very, very kind of mercenary about their attitudes. If you can't keep up with the pride, well, that's it. There comes the last one there, Ferg, with a stick in its mouth. Don't get lost, my dear. Drop your stick and run. Come on. Oh, that's just too gorgeous. Now that thing is in danger, not so much from hyenas, I don't think, but I mean, even a big bird of prey would swoop down and grab that. Sticks dropped, good. Keep up, little thing. Oh, special stuff this. Right, let's carry on. Sorry, Fergus, didn't get a warning there. Now, we saw it from just the bridge here, and I think that's where the kill is. Careful over these rocks. Kaylee, you're wondering if we're heading towards where we noticed the vultures? Yes, that's exactly where we're heading. But I'm going to follow her. I'm not going to guess. Somebody's just has guessed and gone over the top there. So I'm pretty sure that is where they're going. Let's just get around the front here. There are another 3 vehicles around, and so we all want to stay kind of distant from each other so we don't put too much pressure on them. Not that they seem the slightest bit affected by us. They seem completely relaxed. Mary, you want to know if there's some kind of scientific explanation for why lion cubs are so cute? No, I don't think there is. I think it's just that we find them cute because they look like teddy bears. Alright, I think I can see where they're going. We're going to get out into the open here. We're going to have to be quite patient. I can see them coming. But let's just move into the open here, and we'll see them coming through this open area. You see them there, Ferg? They're just coming there. Maybe let me move around this bit. And I know all of you are going on and on about how cute the sighting is. It is, I mean, I've become quite embarrassed by my inability to speak in a normal voice when I'm looking at lion cubs. You got them. We'll just stop here and wait for them to come down through that area. You had them, Ferg. I think they're coming through that area. Let's just wait here. We must be patient, continue to be patient. And I'm going to look to where, oh, I can see the other lions. Okay, they're quite a distance still, probably about, I'm going to say a quarter of a mile, 400 meters. They're definitely on a kill. There are vultures there. Have you got them there? I can't see these little ones just yet. And interestingly that she's chosen to take them along the road. She may well come off the road. Oh, she's calling them. Well spotted. This is fantastic stuff. Come on, my dear. We've got quite a far way to go, little things. Yeah, I agree. Candy, you say this is, or Sandy, you say this is quite a long journey for these little cubs. I agree with you, yes. I think it is quite a long journey. But it's not impossible. Well, let's hope it's not impossible. Like I say, I'm guessing, oh yeah, between 300 or 400 meters from where I'm sitting here, and so another 100 from where they are. Yeah, a quarter of a mile or so to get to the kill. I think some of them are probably getting a little bit tired. Come on. Come on. She's actually being really quite motherly about this. Lions can often be fairly unmotherly about this sort of thing. I suppose it's not impossible that she will put them into the thicket there. And James, as you say, absolutely, I keep forgetting this, perfect sighting for World Animal Day with the theme being lions, absolutely. There's a lot of playful behavior there, and I think they're going to get themselves into trouble, those lions, from that adult. Shall we move in there? I think let's show where the kill is. You can see the other vehicle there, and the kill is just below them to the left. There's a Thompson's gazelle, and if you go to the left of that, there you'll just see the lion sticking its head out of the ground. And of course that's not a lion in the vehicle, that's a person. Alright, let's go around the corner here. See what is going on with these things. Yeah, Pamela, I have exactly the same feeling every time I see these little cubs. You say you wish you could cuddle with them. Wouldn't it be wonderful to cuddle a lion cub? Well, yes, in theory it would. Remember, there are places that you can cuddle lion cubs. There they come. And it is not to be encouraged. So although we're going to imagine cuddling lion cubs, although the opportunity does exist for human beings to do it, it almost always ends up in complete tragedy. So just bear that in mind, and we'll all just imagine what it would be like and promise never to do it ourselves. Now they're being very they're being very naughty. I think she's trying to cajole them to coming towards the kill site, but at the moment they're not being particularly cooperative about it. She might leave them there for a while. So you can see she's panting. She's not panting because it's hot. It's not hot yet. I mean, it's warming up, but it's not hot. And I think you'll find that she's panting because she's eaten so much. Now she's pulling them out into the sun. Here we go. Oof, I find this quite difficult to watch, just in case one of the 9 drops off the back and isn't noticed. You haven't got far to go now, my dear. Keep going. See how naughty they are? They're just like my nephews. Come over here. And they do exactly the opposite. Now, Sandy, you say, will the lioness look after all the cubs, even the ones that aren't hers, if danger came? Sandy, she would, I think. I am unconvinced that the lionesses of this pride make any or have any differentiation between their own cubs and the cubs of their siblings or cousins. It's entirely, because they all cross-suckle, of course, it's entirely likely that she sees them as her own, all of them, and likewise that the other lionesses see them as, all of them as their own. And they're going back into the thickets there. She's come about, I'd say, half the way to the kill. We'll give her another, I don't know, 3 minutes or so in that area. Oh, she's lying down. Okay, let's move in there and just get a nice look at the cubs. Because obviously the cubs are not going to go across to the kill without her. I'm fascinated by this. I don't really know how to explain why she'd have pulled them out of the safety there and then lain down halfway to the kill, unless she's just a bit tired, or unless she realizes a few of them are a bit tired and she's going to give them a small drink of milk perhaps and then carry on. But many of them have now skedaddled across or around the other side. You're going to see some vehicles now, quite a few. Sorry about that. That is how this place pays for itself, of course. There we go. I think let's just stop here. There is the lioness and some of the cubs. Oh, wonderful. Okay, we're going to call it quits on this particular broadcast. If they get going again and start moving towards the kill, we'll go live again. Thank you very much for your questions and comments. What a magnificent morning here in the Masai Mara. We will hopefully see you very shortly. Everyone, we're still on there, hey? And they're going back again. Oh, they're all running back towards the rock. That is absolutely astounding. I don't know what to do now. Oh, maybe let's go back that way. We know where the lioness is here. Let's just try and get a kind of eagle's eye view on the situation. So let's get up high and try and stay away from the cubs that are now on their own, moving back towards the den site. We don't want to give them a fright. No, they have skedaddled. Very difficult to tell what's going on. Can you see them at all, folk? They're all running along the road on their own, which I would suggest is quite dangerous. I'm going to wait here. You can see them there. Let me try and just level the car slightly. Sorry, Ferg, it's a disaster for you, but not much I can do. They are just moving along the road there. We'll try and keep our distance, I think. Now they're in danger. This is very strange. They're being naughty, and I think they're just playing. There are going to be some vehicles, I'm afraid. Some of them, I don't know if this running is playfulness or if it's a sense of insecurity. I suspect that it is the latter. That they were just too far from the den site for them to be comfortable and perhaps a little tired. Alrighty, we're going to just try and unravel what's going on here, figure out what's happening with these magnificent little cubs, and while we do that, we're going to hand you back to Steph at Djuma and see what he's going to find on foot.
We have had quite an experience while you have been watching those absolutely fantastic lions. We had some lions of our own. We walked into a female lion with some cubs. I thought we saw one or two cubs and then a big male following them. And they were in some very obscure, some thick bush, and so we couldn't see them too clearly, but we now know that there are some lions around, and we've made our way out into a different direction just to make sure that that's done, and then we are out of the way of them. We've come up onto this termite mound. This is just one of those giant termite mounds. It's basically taken 3 or 4 steps to get up here, and I want to show you how tall this termite mound is. We were talking about termite mounds a little while ago, and you can see how truly big this particular mound is. It's easily a small building's worth of sand. In fact, on my travels, that's a crested francolin. One of my favoritist of all the bird calls. Just listen to it for a while. Yeah, I like that. It was one of the first bird calls I ever remembering. I was lying in a camp, sleeping bag tucked up under my chin, freezing, with this bird calling at my head, thinking, I know that bird, and it generated some nice memories. Anyway, back to the story about the termite mound. Zambia, Tanzania. I just had to catch VM there. He got unhooked. Zambia and Tanzania, people mine termite mounds for clay. So they dig out the termite mound, and then they make charcoal from from wood. And basically, what charcoal is they take a piece of wood, chunks of wood, they dig a hole in the ground, they place the chunks of wood in the hole, they then set the wood alight, and then they cover it with green leaves and with clay. And basically what happens is the tree bakes. It doesn't burn, it bakes. All the moisture comes out, all the impurities come out, and all you're left with is just straight coal. If it gets too hot, it turns to ash. If it gets too cold, you got too much water, too much moisture, and it doesn't completely turn into coal. It's called lump coal. They then make lump coal from a hardwood tree. They then take the bricks that they've pressed from the clay from the termite mounds, and they put it into a mold. And then right next to where they've mined it, they use the lump charcoal and the clay brick, and they fire them together. That bakes the clay, but not hot enough, unfortunately, to vitrify it. So you get this baked brick, and then they build a house right next to this mine. So where they got the tree from, where they've mined the clay from to get the bricks, they then build a house. And they, from a termite mound this size, you'll get about 4 to 5 houses worth. Can you believe it? So a very strong weather-resistant structure that people living in the bush do straight from this, using very primitive technology. It's really incredible. Right, we're going to make our way off the termite mound, create some more distance between these lines where we were, and we're going to send you back up to the Mara.
Now, we seem to have a bit of an interesting situation here. She seems to have bitten off more than she can chew, this lioness, and I think that she's really, really struggling to keep up with all of these cubs. They've now split apart. They're into 2 groups. She's found the one that was lost, and now she's heading back towards the others. I think there's another one behind that bush. And the others have gone off into a thicket, not towards the den site. So it's really quite... She's now calling. You can see her calling. We're going to keep our distance so that the cubs don't just hear engine, that they can hear her calling. And we'll see if the others don't come back out this way. I think we should perhaps go to a Facebook Live here. I think this is an unfolding story that's going to be quite interesting. Welcome back to those of you on Facebook who saw us earlier. For those of you who didn't, we're sitting here with the lioness of the Black Rock Pride who's gone to fetch 9 cubs. She managed to get them all out of the den. They were walking towards a kill. Then they seemed to get tired and they started to split apart. We've had probably, I think it's 7 of them have gone off on their own into a thicket, seemingly without her. They're quite nervous of what's going on, I think. And she waited in the shade for them, and 2 more got lost in between the group. Now she's come back for those 2, but the other 7 have gone down into a thicket. We don't know exactly where they are, or why they went there, or what they're doing. And I think that this is their first really long foray away from the den, and I think that's probably why they're a bit nervous. They're also probably a little tired walking this far. Those 2 cubs are from 2 different litters, almost certainly. They're different sizes. I'm going to follow her, and the reason for that is that I don't want to get in the face of the youngsters that are on their own over there. I think we might give them a bit of a fright. I'm sorry about the wind noise. It is very windy out here at the moment, and we will try and come up with a solution for that sometime soon. So what we're going to do is keep our distance from her, see where she goes with these 2 cubs. Does she leave them and go and fetch the others? Does she just carry on and take them there, back to the kill, and then send one of the other lionesses back to fetch them? Who knows? I think this wind will also make the other little cubs a bit nervous, especially now that they've become separated from this female. And I think a little bit like a child in a shopping center, they've become separated because they were messing around. She didn't necessarily notice, and suddenly we have a situation where they've become separated from their safety. So there she is, underneath a bush with just 2 of the cubs, and she's lying down now, still about 400 meters or quarter of a mile from the kill. So these 2, who, like I say, I think are from different litters, I think they're different sizes, will have a suckle now, perhaps. And we're just going to wait here. I've got an eye on the den the other side, and let me just see if they can't, not going back there. Now, Craig, you want to know if another mother could be calling the cubs and that's why they've left? And Craig, no, because the mothers are the opposite direction from the one that those other cubs went. And I'm just training my binoculars. I'm not looking at what you're looking at now. I'm training my binoculars back towards where they've come from. And I can't see, there are vehicles going up towards there. Maybe the little cubs have got through the drainage system and they're going back towards their den site. I'm not sure though. It's very difficult to figure out what on earth's going on here. The little cubs are still calling. I feel like we would have seen them emerging, don't you, Fergus? So it's quite a difficult situation, this, to figure out and to understand, because now we have a situation where 7 cubs are separated from the safety of their den and the safety of an adult lioness. And you know, it could so easily go from 9 to 2 within a heartbeat if something happens. If they come across one hyena, they come across one sort of strange male lion, which I don't think they would, but a hyena is a real danger now. How she's managed to... oh, that's very cute. Yeah, Sandy, she probably could. You say, could she be able to call another lioness to help her? Possibly, but she's got herself between a rock and a hard place now, because she's 400 meters from the kill. And the lionesses are a long, long way away. And in this wind, there's not a chance that they'll hear her calling. What we're going to do is sneak forward. I'm just going to see if there isn't a lioness coming from the kill site, perhaps. Let's just have a look here. You say, Lynn, won't the other lionesses go to look for the cubs? Yes, well, they might. But when is the question, because they don't know what's happened here. So there, I'm just going to show you the vehicles where the kill site is. There the vehicles are, still waiting. They've done exactly the opposite of us. They've decided, well, let's go and sit by the kill and wait for the cubs and the lioness to arrive. And now this lioness has been forced to stop in the shade. There she is. She's looking towards the kill. But the other cubs are not here. And I will tell you that there are a few vehicles back towards the den site. And I think they're just waiting there patiently to see if the cubs don't come back. I don't know if a 5-week-old cub would have the ability to make their way there. Well, that's That's the question from Megan, and the one that I don't think I can answer. You say, are the cubs old enough to make their way back to the den site on their own? I don't know. I mean, I think a 5-week-old cub is very small still. And you know, in theory, they would only be introduced to the pride when they were 6 weeks old. So it's all rather interesting. Keeping an eye out. I think what we should do is just drive very slowly along this road and see if we can't figure out what's going on, and then we'll leave you to get on with your day and come back to you as and when something happens here. So let's just drive gently along here. We'll leave this lioness in the shade of her bush, knowing that she'll either be between here and the kill or between here and the den site. And drive very slowly and carefully and just see if we can't get a quick view of the other 7 who have very, well, one hesitates to use the term stupidly because of course they're very little, so very in typical sort of childlike or young mammal fashion got themselves into a little bit of trouble. Now they may have done this before, of course, I mean, we don't know. We've spent limited time with this pride, but I really feel like we would have seen them emerging from here if they were going back to the den, but a lot of these vehicles did kind of skedaddle up towards the den site, so maybe they have been very clever and got themselves up there. We're just going to drive very slowly along, see if we can't pick them up. I must apologize again for the wind noise. It is very windy out here. Let's just have a look. I'll show you where the den site is from where we're sitting once we're on the crest of this little ridge. And then we'll look between here. They disappear down into this thicket over here, and it's quite possible that they will sort of use the drainage system to make their way back towards the den, which is, I think, what those other vehicles are hoping they will do. I'm not going to drive in there because I think that will give them a fright if they are still there. We want to let them calm down, especially in wind like this. We don't want them to be the slightest bit afraid. So we'll just pop our heads through here, and then I think we'll probably make our way back towards that lioness. I'm afraid we're going to do a little bit more searching through here, try and figure out what's happened. While we do that, we're going to let you get on with your day. Thank you very much for joining. We'll keep you posted, so keep an eye for those pings as we go live. We'll see you next time. Everybody, I don't know what's let's just have a little look-see around here. I don't want to drive too much around here, so what I'm going to do is have a quick look around here, then I'm going to turn on and go to the kill. You got them? They're at the den. Fantastic. Good. Alright, well, let's just have a quick look so that you can see them there. That's a relief. They all made it back to the den. Very clever of them to do that. And then I think we'll make our way to the kill. Brilliant. Well done, Fergus. There they are at the den. We're not going to go any closer than that. We don't need to. And then you can have one last look at them. And as you do that, we'll hand you over to Malaika and her 2 babies and Scott. So we're back again with us. Audio with Scott, something of an issue for some reason. We haven't moved. In case you're wondering about the strange link I gave to Scott there, that is a song by Angelique Kidjo, very famous African singer. In fact, I think she wrote it, but it's a wonderful, I think it's a Tanzanian song. Alright, well, while you're with us, let's go off to the kill. What do you think? Fergus, are you happy to do that? I think we should leave those cubbies just to have a little bit of a relax on their own. Wonderful that they made it back. I'm hoping all 7 have made it. I'm assuming they have. We'll go back past the Lioness. I wonder if she'll come back and fetch them. Or if she'll take these 2 and then another one will come. Who knows? The other 2 are just sticking their heads out there, having a look-see. Suddenly it's got a bit warmer, hasn't it, Fergus? We're now disrobing at an alarming rate. Sunscreen's going to have to come out soon. What a sighting we've had. Wow. And you know, we sat there, what was it? It must have been 2 hours. We sat there 2 hours, 2 and a bit hours. And I was about to leave. I'd started the engine to leave when Fergus spotted the Lioness coming over the hill. And a reunion like that is just too special. Okay. Let's see what we can find around here. The other Lioness and her cub are just inside here. Let's not give her a fright. Although the amount of dust that's going to cover her now, I imagine she's going to get a little bit miffed with us. There she is. Sorry, I wasn't going to stop, but I think she's calling. Is that alright? She's calling the others. She has no idea they've gone back home. I often think if you had the kind of physical abilities of a lion and the brain of a human being, you'd be probably quite a lot more effective. But of course that's an impossibility. And you said the cubs have to be nursed every day. Yes, I'd say the youngest ones definitely have to be nursed every day, more than once a day. She's just going to the shade there. I think she's a bit confused. Let's go and look at the kill. She's lying down there. Let's go and look at the kill and see what they've killed. It's not too far, like I say, about a quarter of a mile or so. Just around there. At least we've managed to figure out all the 3 parts of this sighting now. Kill site, Lioness, 2 cubs, 7 cubs we hope, back at the den. And I'm also interested by the fact that she walked from the kill, she walked straight over the ridge, in a dead straight line towards the den. But when she brought them out, she's brought them along this road. And I wonder if that's a conscious decision, because she knows that the grass is a little bit more difficult for little cubs like that to walk in amongst. I'm not sure. I might just have to talk to these people and tell them what's going on, because I think they were waiting there hoping that the cubs would arrive. Two of the cubs are there with the lioness, and 7 went back to the den. They just turned around and went back.
Yeah, because of those guys.
Yeah, there were quite a few people there. Yeah. We're going to go and have a look at the kill. Yeah, they're safe. They're safe, yeah. They've apportioned blame to some of the other guides. I'm not sure that's necessarily true. I have seen quite a lot of blame flowing from one guide to the other in the area. Competition is strong. Anyway, I'm very glad we were a long way away from them when they split up. Alright, we're going to head back to Steph now. We're just about to arrive at the kill, but I'm sure Steph is going to tell you something particularly interesting in the next 10 seconds or so. And maybe we'll be able to have a little bit of time with this kill later.
One of the things that I haven't managed to fathom out just yet is these spider hunting wasps frequent the entrances to burrows and cavities in the sides of termite mounds. And right at this particular termite mound, we've got a lot of cavities at the moment, and you can't see it now, but there's a spider hunting wasp that's landed in there. I can hear it. Come with me. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. The unfortunate thing is there's a very fresh warthog hole, and I need to make sure that we're not going to get chased. Now, warthogs reverse into their holes, and they come out tusks first at the speed of light. And you want to try and give them as much time as they can to leave. Doesn't seem like anyone's home, but I'm still going to approach keeping a barrier of sorts between myself and this hole and speak quite loudly. I'll worry about these things, I tell you. Not nice when they come out here and want to chase you around. Alright, now we need to find this spider hunting wasp. Okay, it doesn't seem like anyone's at home. It's safe to walk through the front. Have a look at this hole. You can see how scary they are. So now I've got to try and find where this wasp has gone. So spider hunting wasp is one of the largest wasps that we have here. It's a big bluish iridescent purple wasp, this big, that hunts and specializes in hunting baboon spiders, which are spiders bigger than my hand. And like I said, now the spider hunting wasp has flown away from here and isn't around. But somewhere here, they come and sit in the entrances to these burrows, and the only thing that I can think of is that they're nectivorous feeders, so they catch caterpillars and spiders, mainly spiders, and give it to their babies, but they themselves feed on nectar. And I think what happens is very similar to butterflies, which will congregate around a pool of water, drying up pool of water for minerals. I think the wasps get minerals from the excavations in the sides of these termite mounds. That's what I think happens. There's one. Oh, he's just flown away now. Here he comes over here again. Okay. Now, it's going to be difficult for VM to get this guy. He's incredibly busy. But we'll see. He's going to land here somewhere. Here he comes through here. You see? So you can hear it, yeah. Amazing. Alright, so that's the end of the walk for myself and VM. This wasp is not going to land now, so thank you very much for joining us on the walk. You back over to Brent, who's racing off to a hunt of some sorts.
Well, there we go. Well, not quite a hunt. We've just arrived. We saw massive vultures, and then this lioness and her 2 cubs dragging what looks to be a wildebeest across the plain away from the vultures. Some black-backed jackals about, yapping at her. Now, which female this is, I'm not sure. And so we're down in the south now. There's a couple of different prides in here, and it does get a little bit confusing because we don't spend as much time in this area. But I think she's taking that. There we go. She's got the wildebeest. She's taking it off towards some small shade, or some small bushes for some shade. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? And then the cub's trying to eat and pull it away from her as it's happening. Naughty little monster. Making Mom's life hard. Making Mom's life very, very hard. Shame. Isn't this incredible? Now remember, this is 100% live from the Masai Mara in Kenya. We have a lioness dragging her wildebeest carcass through to the shade. Oh, she's going to have to take a break. The added weight of her youngster pulling on it has obviously made her a little bit tired. But what a spectacular morning it's been. And, well, we haven't really partaken too much, but thanks to James and Scott who have held the show, and Steph, of course. But what a lovely way to end for us with some pride of lions we don't know, so we're going to get some ID shots, see if we can work out who they are. But remember to stay watching Facebook Live, for Facebook Lives all day. We are out all day today, so keep an eye out, and we will see you a little later on the Sunset Safari.